What's good, everybody? Welcome to Chat with Jet. This is episode 12. Today, I am going to talk to you about the CPI report that was just published by the US Bureau of Labor Statistics and the implications that it has on a variety of people, including investors, mortgage holders, and buyers and business owners. So it's going to be a quick video. I'm not going to really get into the details. It's very surface level, but I think it's important that you know what's going on. So the CPI report came out for the month of August. It was published on the 13th of September. It is 10:55 a.m. right now. Now, the markets, the last time I checked, were not doing good. They have reacted very negatively to the CPI report. The reason being is that the CPI report showcased that inflation has not decreased month over month. So the trend is not good. Now, it is not a massive increase. It is very negligible, I would say, but the market reacts the way the market reacts. And the media does what the media does. So the first thing I want to say is inflation came back. The report is a 8.3% increase in the overall cost of goods in the month of August compared to prior year. The increase part should not be a surprise. For the last 8-9 months, the cost of things have been more expensive than prior year. Everybody knew this. So this is not the surprise. But the surprise is partially because a lot of economists thought that the inflation would be around 8% for the month of August because gas has dropped significantly. The price of gas has dropped significantly. But the truth is that decrease has been offset by some partial increases in other subsections and other baskets, such as shelter, Medicare. So these increases have partially gobbled up the decrease of gas prices. So inflation is at 8.3 rather than the expected 8%. But economists, that's just a prediction that they put out. They thought there was going to be 8%, but it's at 8.3. If economists were nailing these type of things, then they would all be rich, but they're not. So that's that. That's another story. Now, for June, inflation peaked at 9%. So now what we want to see is if we're at 9%, we need to get to that baseline, that healthy baseline, which is 2-3% increase. So we started at 9 at June, we peaked, then we went to like 8.2 in July, and then we're at 8.3 in August. So this trend is not good. We're not having a sustainable downtrend towards 2-3%. That's where we want to get. So this is the issue. And a lot of people are like, oh, snap. If we're going back up, then that means Jerome Powell, who sets the federal interest rate benchmark, is going to increase further the interest rates. So people were speculating at the end of August that, gas prices are going down. The September increase might be 0.5%. But now people are saying, it's going to be 0.75, similar to what Canada did. Canada last week, the Bank of Canada, they raised rates by 0.75%. So now people are speculating, okay, well, it looks like inflation is still there. It's still going up and not going down. Jerome Powell might have to keep acting aggressively and enact a restrictive policy. He needs to control, clearly put a ceiling on inflation. And this is where the anecdote I'm going to give is kind of it's kind of gloomy, but it is the truth. Raising interest rates is going to have unintended consequences. It is like getting chemotherapy when you have cancer. Chemotherapy's goal is to kill the cancer cells in your body, but there's going to be unintended consequences. Your hair is going to fall off. You're going to feel weak. You're going to feel a lack of energy. You're not going to be your same self anymore while you're going through treatment. It is going to change the way you work, the way you operate, the way you live. And that's kind of what happens with rising interest rates. If you rise the interest rates or raise them so much, it is going to have unintended consequences. It is going to put a lot of householders, a lot of recent buyers of homes with variable mortgage rates in a sticky situation. Their backs are going to get against the wall, or they're going to get plummeted through the wall, and they're going to have to pay a lot more to cover at least the interest portion of their mortgage. Then there's the construction industries. Suddenly there's no more buyers anymore to buy new built homes. So the construction industry is going to feel the pain. If the construction industry feels the pain, they're going to buy less construction materials. Renovations are going to slow down. The retail stores are going to get impacted. I'm thinking your home hardware, your big stores that sell construction material are going to get impacted. If they're getting impacted, that means jobs are going to get impacted at these stores. Spending is going to decrease. There's going to be so much ripple effects of rising rates. Now, this question is, what is too much? Like, what is too much? Are we just going to take the momentum out of the US economy that is growing, or are we going to kill it and drag it down and essentially kill demand across the board? Think about it. Retail stores closing. Like if there's a Home Depot or a Home Hardware and there's 50 locations in a certain state, the business leaders are going to start shutting down locations to remain profitable, because some stores are suddenly not profitable anymore because there's no more building going on. There's no more renovations going on. It's just dead. So they're going to start closing down stores. People are going to be on unemployment. People are not going to be able to do odd jobs anymore because there's no more odd jobs happening. So think about that. Think about the banks that are going to be trying to lend to new business owners. You know, is a new business owner going to be able to borrow at 7, 6, 5, 4, 10%, you know, as rates go up? Are these investments going to decrease? The investments in equipment, the investments in new businesses, investments in services, are they all going to decrease? If they do decrease, that means there's going to be less people working. Less people working means less money. Less money means less demand for products. So that's how prices come down. So when demand goes down, then obviously suppliers are going to be like, oh snap, you know, maybe I should lower my price a little bit because there's less demand. So I have no choice. I have to do this. So this is the unintended consequences of raising rates. But if all of this collectively brings down the prices of everything, then the measures of raising rates have done its job. So this is the biggest takeaway that I have for everyone. The markets are doing pretty bad today because people are expecting a higher interest rate increase. That means people are going to have to pay more money to speculate on the market, or more money to leverage and invest in the market. So, you know, if you're borrowing at 4 or 5% from your bank, or, you know, 6% from your bank, but your returns on the stock market is 0, or -5 or -3 or only 2% because your company pays a 2% dividend, then you're not going to invest anymore. You're going to take your money and put it elsewhere where it could pay more, like a GIC, in bonds, in something more secure. So this is what's happening. There's a shift away from equity markets. There's less demand. That means there's more selling pressure, and the prices of everything across the board is going down. Now, if I had to invest, I would definitely look into investing in insurance companies and banks, because they are always operating, and if rates are going up, they're charging more to other people. They're always hedging themselves. You know, even if they gave a fixed mortgage to someone at 2%, you know, they hedged the other way to make sure that their cost of borrowing that money is going to be 2% or less. So this is how banks operate. They're not going to go out of business. The scary part for banks, though, is if suddenly there's a huge default across the board, and, you know, banks were lending on the premise that the values of homes were, you know, $1 million, but suddenly if the homes are all worth 300K and everybody's rushing to sell, then the banks are screwed. So I'm sure banks are going to try to find solutions with their clients, you know, stretch out their amortization period, some kind of solution to make sure that they can keep making their payments and not create a frenzy in the market and create downward pressure, because it's against the bank's interest for housing to crash. So let's just see how it all plays out. But this is what I want you to take away from the report. Inflation is still hot. It was expected. It's a bit hotter than what people liked it to see. We're still up here at 8.3. We need to be here at 2. So we need to keep going down to get there. I think there is going to be a lot of pain, and that is just the way things work. You know, the economy can't always be hot. It has to have a cooling period. It's normal for business cycles to go up and down. So I think we are going to be going through a long and dragged out recession period where the market is slowing down. Hopefully it's not going to be a sharp decline. It's going to be something healthy, and then it slowly picks back up in a more healthier way where everybody can profit. So that's all I have to say. If you like what you heard, definitely hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions or concerns, drop your comments and I'll definitely get back to you. See you later. Bye.